What's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in to the MMA Lads podcast. I'm your host, Max. This is my co-host, B-Ray. Today, we're going to be talking to you about UFC 317, Charles Olivera versus Ilia Topuria. Stay tuned for the best picks. All right, guys. Well, we got International Fight Week, UFC 317, Charles Olivera versus Ilia Topuria for the lightweight title bout. Bira, I have to ask you, what are your thoughts on Ilia Topuria?
Pa, 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 pa. That's it. That's all I have to say.
Smack the little nose off him, yeah.
How do you think you would beat Ilia Topuria? I'd grab him by the scruff of the chest and slap that little nose off him, yeah? Little ding-dong of a thing he is.
No, this is going to be a good fight. Man, Ilia Topuria, guy's a freaking dog, man. Fortunately, man, this guy's a freaking villain, bro. This guy's a villain.
He's knocking out your favorite fighter's favorite fighter. Mm-hmm. And I think he will do the same to Olivera, bro. Oof. I'm not going to front.
Yeah? So do you think, 145 or coming up to 155, do you think his power can transfer over to 155?
100%. We've only seen him once at 155. And he had a tough fight, He got dropped by a head kick, recovered automatically, and then got the knockout. So I see his power transferring over well here. And he's got the grappling if he needs to. Maybe not the same submission game as Charles, but great wrestling on Ilia. So
yeah, for sure.
You can't deny the lethal power in his hands. He can sleep middleweights if he wanted to,
Oh, chill.
He hits hard, bro.
He does hit hard. But look, every time I've counted out Charles Olivera, he's proved me wrong. I thought Justin Gaethje was going to fuck him up. He didn't. I thought Dustin Poirier was going to fuck him up. He didn't. I thought Michael Chandler had a chance the second time. No chance. So every time I bet against Charles Olivera, I get proven wrong.
Not to say that everyone you just named doesn't have a competitive fight at first,
Right.
Charles gets dropped. He gets hurt in all these fights. I just think Ilia's got great finishing ability. Maybe some of the guys from past haven't been able to just get it done once they drop him because he recovers fast. If you go in for ground and pound, the submission threat is always going to be there. The sweeps are going to be there for him. So, man. Let's not forget about the 12 fight win streak of Olivera, you know what I'm saying? But right now we got someone who's undefeated, who in every interview says, I already know I'm going to win. I just want to make sure the fans are entertained. He's a villain.
He's a villain. Look, man, he knocked out Volkanovski. He knocked out Max Holloway.
The unbreakable.
You can't break them. They're unbreakable.
You can't break them.
Unbreakable? They're unbreakable. Break them.
But look, Charles Olivera, I mean, his resume speaks for itself. He could be top 3 lightweights of all time. Charles Olivera. I'd put him up there. If you look at his resume, I'd put him up there. I think Khabib's number 1, best lightweight. Well, Khabib, Islam, and then I'd put Charles Olivera there.
What about BJ Penn? Shout out to BJ Penn, bro. I hope you make it out of your own brain.
I'd put him at number 4. But look, if Ilia Topuria gets this done and beats, in my opinion, top 3 lightweights of all time, he just beat one of the pound-for-pound best 145ers of all time. You could say Volkanovski, and
2 out of 3 of the best.
Max Holloway was considered 1 at one point. You know what I mean? If he gets Olivera out of there, his resume is probably better than Conor's. At 100%. For the 145er coming up, you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. Ilia has a better resume than Conor right now.
But I want
losses.
Yeah, I do want to say this though. I think the UFC needs a star really badly, and the UFC does well with heels. Like I think the Sean O'Malley experiment's kind of over. He's not the star that people thought he was. I think Ilia Topuria, if he gets this done, he can be maybe as big as Conor was if they build him up properly. Yeah. In my opinion, we'll see.
I just feel like Connor was lucky to have the country of Ireland behind him.
But he has the country of Spain behind him.
Spain isn't there yet with MMA. He might be the person to take it there, kind of like MMA in Ireland. Connor was the person to take it to that next level. He did switch camps. What happens when a fighter who's already doing really well switches camps? We don't really know. We're going to find out, because usually fighters switch camps after a loss, after a very close fight, or even one of those BS decisions. Some fighters just throw away their whole camp. But let's see what Ilia does. He's got some of the same people in his camp. I'm hyped. I know his brother's going to be in his corner, probably his boxing coach too. I'm hyped. I'm hyped for this one, bro.
Yeah. So
Olivera hurts everyone that he fights. So no doubt about that one. We can talk all we want about Ilia's undefeated streak, but Olivera has more finishes than Ilia has fights. He's the most finishes in the UFC, which is
that's crazy.
Something you got to take into consideration. Always dangerous. Can finish the fight in the first round or the fifth round. Honestly, yeah.
That's very true. So let's take a look at these odds real quick, because some juicy stuff going on here. Look, the odds. Okay, Bet Online is saying minus 500 Ilia Topuria. That's crazy. Minus 470 Bovada, minus 410 MyBookie, and minus 435 Bet US. All right, DraftKings minus 425. So
4 to 500.
4 to 500 range. Heavy favorite. Do you think that that's warranted? Charles Olivera plus 385, plus 345.
I could see minus 300 or something for Ilia, but 500 is kind of nuts.
Yeah.
Everyone's just counting them out.
So would you, B-Rai, take anything on Charles Olivera?
It's not a bad idea to put some money on Olivera. For sure, I would put fight doesn't go the distance. I think that's a very smart pick for this one.
Right. So the way I see it, look, Charles, like you said, this fight cannot go the distance.
No.
I don't think it will. I think Charles's best way of getting Ilia Topuria out of there would probably be a submission.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in my opinion, one of Charles's weaknesses is when he gets dropped, he likes to stay on the bottom and let people kind of come to him in his BJJ guard. And unfortunately, a lot of times people land some ground and pound on him.
Of course. Armin.
I don't like that idea of Topuria, because Topuria can wrestle. People forget, look, he's got hands belt. No, that man can wrestle.
Amazing wrestler.
If he gets on top of Charles Olivera, I think he's going to rain ground and pound on him. So the only way I see is if he tries to move around and pull a submission up off of him. I don't think striking. I think Ilia might be a little bit too fast for Charles. So I think Charles' method of victory would be submission. So I'd go either Charles Olivera. Me personally, I'd do a Charles Olivera money line, or if I did a method of win, I'd do submission.
Yeah. 100%. Charles Olivera has great striking. You know, it was his striking that got it done against Gaethje. It was his wrestling and grappling that got it done against Poirier and against Dariush. It was his striking against Armin. Close fight. I'd say his submission game shined a little bit more, especially with that guillotine that he almost had. Nice. So Charles has the tools everywhere too, man. He just went 5 rounds for the first time against Chandler.
Yeah.
And then Chandler punches him in the back of the head continuously in the 5th round. So congrats. But now that we saw him go 5 rounds, I think it adds another little element to his game that, you know, he can go the 5 rounds if he needs to. Ilia's only gone 5 rounds versus Josh Emmett.
Yeah.
And that was 5 rounds of him pulverizing the man. Yeah, but I don't see this going the distance.
So my official pick is Ilia Topuria. I'm going to go Ilia Topuria by KO, TKO. What do you think?
I think I'd go with the same thing.
Okay.
Ilia Topuria by finish. If you want to be even smarter, like I do my bets, the fight will not go the distance. I think that's a safe one. That might just be a minus like 200 or something on one of these apps.
Right. Okay, so I want to lead into this next question. If he beats Charles Olivera, we need to see, as fans, we need to see Islam versus Topuria. Do you think the UFC will do that?
I think with the direction that the UFC is going right now, we'll probably get Patty versus Paddy versus Ilia before Islam.
But look, I'm glad that you mentioned that. I think Paddy needs one more win to get to that spot, right? I think that's the perfect setup.
Gaethje or Arman
Look,
or
if the
Hooker?
matchmakers are smart, because I'm going to agree with Uncle Chael here. Look, if you have storylines, you have to go with it because fans will be interested and they're going to pay money to see these storylines. There's a lot of times where there's a storyline going and then they don't match it up, right? Like,
Yeah.
it would be a shame if Kamaru and Bilal didn't fight
I know.
because they fought on their podcast and they're
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
they're not going to release the footage.
Yeah, they fought right here.
Yeah.
They fought,
Yeah. Or like, imagine if Colby and Kamaru never fought. You know what I mean? Sometimes they do fights like that. Like, I thought Ian Gary should have fought Joaquin Buckley.
Yeah.
Joaquin was calling him the buck and the cuck for the fight. I want to see
can't
that.
wait.
You know what I mean? Like
that one's still gonna happen in the future. I
I
see
don't
it.
know. I don't see Ian Gary wanting to fight down per se. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
for
yeah.
a while. But this, you know, they were at a point where they could have fought each other. Now I think they're a little bit too far apart after that.
So-
Joaquin Buckley lost to Kamaru Usman.
The storyline is Islam's called out. Ilia's called out Islam on every podcast, on Twitter, on social media, all over the place. And Islam's only response is, who is this guy? He doesn't deserve anything. I'm going to go get my second belt. I have bigger legacy to chase. Let's say he doesn't get the second belt versus JDM. Do you think he'll come back down and fight Ilia?
I
if he
think
wins?
so. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm also a little upset. I know a lot of things went into it, but we never got to see Islam versus Charles too.
I know.
know?
I was actually looking forward to that. I really thought
And then Volk.
something would have happened where, because look, Charles does have the tools to possibly beat Islam.
Anybody.
Right, I know. It's like he's a dark horse. You never know with Charles. He pulls off miracles. But I think the storyline there. I think even if I don't know if Islam beats JDM, let's say, who's next for Islam at 170? Because a lot of those guys are a lot bigger than him. Imagine somebody like a big 170 pounder
Yeah.
that goes up against Islam. You know what I mean?
Like a Sean Brady
Like,
and
or you know, yeah, Sean Brady.
One of the
Ian Gary's
taller-
like a long
taller
striker,
guys, yeah.
straw lanky striker. It's completely different from
Yeah.
what Islam has faced before. You know?
And, just think about if Islam does win that belt at 170, he'll probably just. I heard Umar say that he would like to still have both belts. So even if he wins the 171, he might go down and fight the winner of this one. We'll see. We also heard he plans to fight maybe 3 more times, which is very important to consider. Ilia also says, I want to be out by 30. So it's just the time frame that we have to get these super fights that the fans want. I'm sure fighters in the UFC want to see this, and they'll gladly pave the way for it too. Just please, Ilia, please fight Islam, please.
Please.
We need
Dana,
to see it.
Hunter,
Sean,
Sean, please make this Islam versus Topuria fight. This is going to be a massive fight. Look, I still think a massive fight, Paddy versus Ilia, man,
Wow.
if they put that in like Spain arena,
Bernabeu,
they'd
or
sell out.
even at somewhere in Liverpool, somewhere big in England.
No, it has to be on Ilia's.
In Spain.
Ilia's
Yeah,
turf.
correct. Yeah.
But I think Paddy will probably need to fight somebody like a Justin Gaethje or Arman Saryukian to really solidify. Look, I'm up next for this.
Yeah. Armin's the backup for this fight,
Interesting.
which almost
He's the
always
he's the back up.
and he pulled his back.
He pulled his back.
We might need a backup for the backup, to be
Yeah.
honest. So I thought a perfect fight for Ilia's lightweight move would have been Armin. I thought that fight would have been amazing, man, because Ilia will not be able to freely wrestle the guy down there, man.
Right.
Those guys would have had a grappling match. Could he sleep him with the fists? Yeah, absolutely. But Armin does his thing in the striking too. You know, he's got some threatening kicks. He's a very flexible guy. But we're not seeing that right now. This is the fight we got, and I got Ilia. Not to say he won't get hurt this fight. Ilia doesn't throw any kicks except some calf kicks. So we got someone who's going to be low to the ground, bobbing their head, and we got Charles with the knees, the teeps down the middle, the 1-2s. We got a great fight.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so let's move on to our co-main flyweight title bout. Alexandre Pantoja versus Kai Kara France.
Two.
Two. Technically, they fought.
A lot of y'all don't know this.
Yeah, go
They
for
fought
it. You
on
wanna
the
tell them?
They fought on the Ultimate Fighter,
Yeah.
and Pantoja won. He got the decision win there, but again, those technically don't count on your record. But I'm sure Kai Kara France wants to get that one back.
Yeah,
You know,
but look,
absolutely.
let's start this off with a clean state because even though they did fight, it was a long time ago. They were much younger.
Definitely.
They've definitely developed their game a lot better than from the first time that they fought. However, Alexandre Pantoja has been looking very dominant at flyweight. Kai Kara France is actually only coming up off of one win.
Man.
So prior to that one win, he lost.
Yeah, I remember him getting destroyed by Brandon Moreno.
Yep.
And they did give Kara France the loss versus Albazi.
Yeah.
But I thought he won that fight. I'm going to be honest. I thought he won that fight. So maybe he's coming off of 2 wins. Look how Steve Erceg did versus Pantoja. We're going to get some MMA math here. How Steve Erceg looked versus Pantoja. He looked pretty good. That
Yeah.
went down to the last round, literally.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you make one mistake against someone like Pantoja, he's going to hold you down and beat you up on the ground. So Kai Kara France, if he wants to get this thing done, it's going to have to be on the feet. You're not going to outgrit someone like Pantoja, who's gone 5 rounds so many times. So, yeah, man. I got Pantoja, another Pantoja masterclass. Whether it's a submission or a decision win, I think he gets this one done pretty comfortably.
I definitely agree with that.
Then Kai Kara France can fight Manel Cap.
Finally.
I've been waiting to see him fight Kendrick for a while now, bro. I'm so sad we didn't get that one.
Hey, Kai Kara, fuck you and your whole team. Kai Kara, I want to fight you. That's another one. That's a storyline.
storyline
They
we need to
should have made it happen at some point.
Cap tried everyone
Tried everybody
in
his
city
team.
kickboxing.
But-
tried Israel.
Manel Cap doesn't show up to fights either.
Doesn't make
he's
weight,
always
doesn't
getting
show
injured.
up to fights.
This is his like 10th pullout. I've read something like that.
Yeah.
Crazy. So I got Alexandre Pantoja as well.
And let me add,
Uh-huh.
please, if he wins this, don't make him fight Brandon Moreno or Brandon Royval again. Let him get his crack at Merab, bro. Let Pantoja go up and have a chance against Merab. We don't know what's gonna happen, man.
Right. I kind of like that idea. Maybe he should go up. Maybe they don't give him immediate title fight shot. Maybe he fights
Someone
a
at
number one
35
contender.
first.
Yeah.
Bro, he's got how many defenses? He's got enough to just
I know.
go up. He's
Yeah,
got
yeah.
more than Ilia. You know what I'm
you're
saying?
right,
So,
you're right.
again, I think they should give him a crack at Merab. Let him go for double champ status. He's so disrespected in the pound for pound rankings. What is he? 6 or 8 below people like Drickus, JDM. What are we
What
doing?
is that?
What
Why
are we
is
doing
why
here,
is
bro?
JDM even on?
This guy's
like,
been in the game for a long time. He also has a 5-star rating as an Uber Eats delivery driver.
shout out.
The man's grinding in one way or another, man. Let him get his second opportunity for the 135 belt, but I think he's got this versus Kara France.
I agree. So they have him at minus 265. They got Kai Kara France at plus 215. Me personally, I'd take money line. Alexandre Pantoja. Could probably be a decision from Pantoja.
I think so.
Yeah.
Or a
yeah.
submission, bro.
A lot of his fights go to decision, though,
Yeah.
if you really think about it. Yeah, it could be a submission. Yeah. But I'd play that one safe. I'd just take the minus 265.
Money line.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got a fun lightweight bout that was scheduled once, but Armin hurt his back. His back is broken.
Listen.
Spinal.
Broke my back.
What do you mean by that? You
My
broke
back is broken.
what? A vertebrae or
No.
what portion?
Spinal.
He cannot afford to lose, my brother.
My brother. Islam's not easy money.
He's not easy money.
But Benil Dariush, easy money.
You think he's easy money?
He's
Chill.
not easy money.
No, he's
but
not
I
easy
think Moicano's going to get this one done. I think they kind of cancel each other out on the ground. I think Moicano does have better grappling skills. I'll give the submission skills to Moicano and the jiu-jitsu to Moicano. The overall grappling edge to Dariush. So I think that's just going to cancel each other out, and then we're gonna get a fight on the feet. Do I want if the Beneil Dariush that whooped Gamrot's ass shows up, Moicano's in trouble.
Yeah.
Honestly. However, that was 3 years ago. Moicano's was on a hot streak. He boxed a bleeding. He ground and pounded the bleeding head off of Benoit Saint-Denis.
Yeah, he did.
Beat him up so much worse than Poirier did, to be honest.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That was bad.
So we know Moicano can get it done with some ground and pound.
For sure.
I just think both these guys are pretty durable, and it's going to end up going the distance.
Yeah, this one for me, it's 52-48.
Beneil Dariush is 52 years old, actually.
He looks 52 years old, but surprisingly, he's younger than Nato Pobrecito.
They're the same age.
He started graying early.
Yeah.
He does look old, but like you said, I think the grappling might cancel each other out. I would actually give the slight edge grappling wise to Moicano. I think he could probably end up on top of Beneil Dariush. That's one of the
that's
ways.
where he works his
that's
game,
where he
yeah.
works his game.
Of course.
Striking edge though, I'd probably give it to Beneil slightly.
Yeah.
Slightly.
I can see you saying that.
Yeah.
Let's not forget, Beneil just got KO'd twice in a row in the striking in his last 2 fights. Just keep that in mind. He has had enough time to rest and recover.
Right,
though,
for sure. Yeah,
which is great. I'm
plenty of
happy.
time.
I'm happy for that.
Yeah. So the odds are plus 136. Beneil Dariush, ranked 9. And Nato
Almost.
Moicano, ranked number 10, minus 162. I would go, personally, I'd go money line, Renato Moicano,
Yeah.
minus 162.
Safe bet. Yeah. Safe pick.
Safe pick, huh? Next up, we got flyweight bout. Ooh, man, this guy, Joshua Van versus Brandon Royval. Joshua Van is a stud.
Thank
I mean,
you.
this guy just fought last week.
Yeah.
Right? He just fought last week. And he got
Out on the Marab card.
he got a nice opportunity to step up to fight number 1 ranked Brandon Royval, who's no slouch.
Not everyone can do that, man. It takes a real one to get right back in there. This is going to be a great fight. Royval is ranked number 1. Let's be honest. Ranked number 1 versus someone outside of the top 10. Does it rarely go the way of someone outside the top 10? No. But gangster move by him for stepping up. It's going to get him a lot of credibility there in the UFC. I'm sure next they'll line him up with someone in the top 10. Not to say he can't get this one done. Royval has more dog in him, I'll be honest, because we have seen Joshua Van lose to Charles Johnson. But it should still be a good fight. You know, this might end in a 3rd round finish for Royval, or it might just go decision.
Yeah.
I really think so. But the boxing exchanges here are going to be fun, man.
I can't
These are
wait
2
for that
powerful guys at 125.
This is going to be a banger. I know that this is going to be pure striking, and at flyweight, you know those guys fight at like 1.5 speed. So like
do.
you know they're going to be striking, it's going to be super fast, and if you blink, somebody might get KO'd.
Yeah. This was supposed to be Manuel Cap, right?
I think so, yeah. I think this is supposed to be Manel Cap.
What are you, too busy dissing Drake to fight Kendrick?
The dude's brittle, bro. He's always getting injured.
He's always getting injured. He
Or
won't make weight.
Maybe he just trains dumb. Maybe he's one of those guys that like
Tony?
get. But the thing with Tony is he's not injury prone. There's some people who like spar really hard. They get into wars and then they're constantly like breaking their arms and shit or whatever. You know what I mean? So maybe Manel Cap has that mentality. I don't know what it is, but
man.
I mean this is the 10th time.
His last fight, he looked good.
Yeah.
Just to not show out for a number 1 contender fight.
Yeah.
It is what it is, man.
But I agree with you. I'm gonna go with Brandon Royval. I'd take him at minus 125. I do money line.
Yeah.
But let me tell you. Yeah. No, you're good.
What's good?
No, you're good.
I was going to say it's Pantoja and then Royval and Moreno. And then everyone else is
Yeah.
not quite there yet.
Let me finish.
It's like they have interim champs already in those 2 people.
Yeah. All right. I'll start that from. I'm gonna go with Brandon Royval, money line minus 125. And like you said, very rarely does somebody out of the top 10 beat somebody in the top 10.
Unless it's a robbery.
Right.
Like O'Malley.
Right. Exactly. But look, man, Joshua Van, you have to, when you're a young kid like that, you have to take those opportunities, and that's a big opportunity for Joshua Van. I'd be super happy for him if he'd win that, you know what I mean? But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Also, just want to point out, this is what the flyweight division looks like. It's Pantoja up top, and then Brandon Moreno and Brandon Royval are basically the interim champs. They'll beat everyone beneath them, and then we got everyone else. Right. So we need someone in that other bracket to beat Royval or Moreno, and then they've proven they can fight against Pantoja. I don't want to see Royval or Moreno get another shot against Pantoja, man. How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
Yeah,
you know?
Basically. All right, we got a cool middleweight bout for the prelims. I want to talk about this one. We got Jack Hermansson versus Gregory Rodriguez.
Great fight.
I want to mention the odds real quick first. We got Jack Hermansson at plus 164 and Gregory Rodriguez minus 198.
The underdog, Jack Hermansson?
So Jack Hermansson's the underdog on this one.
Okay.
What do you think? Do you think it's do you like those odds? What do you
Odds-wise, Hermansson has been out for a little bit, so I can see why the odds are not in his favor. Gregory Rodriguez looked good versus Cannonier until he didn't, and that guy's just always game, man. We love RoboCop. We love Obama. We love the Obama middleweight here, Gregory Rodriguez. Vicious, always looking for a finish. I've seen him train with Pereira. You know, you got great people you can spar and you're striking and everything. Hermansson shut down Joe Pyfer. I believe that was his last win.
Yeah.
So, you know, he beat a guy who was a kind of a surging prospect. So we got to give credit where it's due.
Yep.
He's got a great jab. He's got arguably a better ground game than Rodriguez. Remember what he's done to Kelvin Gastelum.
Right.
He submitted him like that when he didn't expect it. So I'd like to see Gregory Rodriguez get a finish here, get right back into this. I do belong in this top 10 of this division. I think he does. Hermansson, he might look a little too slow after being out of the cage for a while. Bro.
I know.
I really think so.
I agree with you. Yeah, I think Jack Hermansson's a little bit slower.
He's an Apex legend, man. The guy always fights at the Apex.
I know.
What's he gonna do in front of the crowd again, bro? I feel like this guy's fought at the Apex every single time.
But look, Jack Hermansson, if he gets a hold of you, it usually ends up pretty poorly on your side.
He's the Joker.
Yeah. But look, I like Gregory Rodriguez. His last fight, I thought he did pretty decent. You know what I mean? Overall, I like to see Gregory Rodriguez fight, though. He always
exciting,
brings, he's exciting. He's fun. He's like I know he looks old, but he's like a upcoming guy in that division.
Yeah.
That kind of a name, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, a win against Jack Hermansson definitely puts you back up into fighting top-ranked guys. I'm going to go with Gregory Rodriguez minus 198.
A win from the former president would look great in this country. And then just talk about Talbot.
Yeah,
and
hold on.
Lima.
So I'm going to mention that the scrub pulled up.
Lima beat someone.
Let me see the odds before we start. Peyton Talbot is the underdog. Wow. Yeah, who's Felipe? I'm not really familiar with this Felipe Lima guy.
He is 2-0 in the UFC. 3-0 in the UFC. Or 2-0. Scroll down to see. He beat
Oh, sorry.
2-0 in the UFC.
He beat Johns and he beat Naimov.
Mohamed Naimov?
That guy looks like a scrub.
Well, by finish? No.
Submission, and then the other one was decision. Unanimous.
He did fight on a pay-per-view, if I'm not mistaken. Lima.
Peyton Talbot's the underdog, by the way.
Wow.
I'll tell you. Okay, so I'm gonna mention Paulo Costa pulling out, and then.
Oh yeah, we can talk about that one.
We'd have to go too crazy in that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I have some breaking news from Gregory Obama Rodriguez here, but we have another pullout. Paulo Costa has pulled out once again. I mean, this guy's pullout game is strong. Let me tell you.
Man.
He was scheduled to fight Kopylov. Holman
That would
Kopylov.
have been such a great fight, man.
I know, I wanted to see it. But look, they rescheduled it, though. I
Okay.
think Paulo Costa had some sort of illness.
Some sort of hair transplant.
Yeah,
Something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Needs to get off the
who's
the
worse?
secret juice.
Whose pullout game is better? Hamza or Paulo Costa?
or Manuel Cap.
Or Manuel? Yeah,
Manuel
you're
Cap
right. Or
and
Manuel
Paulo
Cap.
Pasta are some of the
Oh my gosh.
craziest
I mean-
pull-out merchants ever.
Does Paulo Costa even fight at this point, or is he a Twitter?
Yeah.
A Twitter guy.
So he lost to Sean Strickland in his last fight. I mean, we don't have to talk much about it since
Yeah.
he's not even fucking fighting.
But yeah.
But what a fucking scrub. bro.
Yeah. Anyways,
Straight
but
up.
he got replaced with Peyton Talbot and Felipe Lima. That spot has been filled, so now we'll be on the main card. But check this out. I want to say, you know, Peyton Talbot got absolutely destroyed by Hani Barcelos.
Oh my God, honey.
So did Cody, though. But I do want to say,
Cody.
hear me out on this. Peyton Talbot is the underdog in this fight. Plus 154, plus 153 versus
Peyton
Felipe
Talbot?
Lima. Yeah.
Black nailed
Yeah.
hipster, skateboarder, stripper, pole dancer, musician, Peyton Talbot?
The
is
one
an
that hangs
underdog.
out, the one that hangs out with Frank Ocean.
Oh shit.
That one. Yeah. He's the underdog. I'm gonna take those odds.
you're
I'm
gonna take
I'm
those.
gonna take plus 154.
Okay.
Look, I know he got absolutely exposed by Howney, but look, send him 2-3 years Dagestan and forget. There's been enough time, and this guy, I don't think. I mean, Felipe Lima did have a submission win,
Lima's good. He is good.
but he's, you know, 2-0 in the UFC. He's a new guy. He's still a young buck. That Felipe Lima in the promotion. anyways.
Peyton just fought some unranked cans before finally getting a crack into the top 15.
Right.
And then this happens. But the power, we have to go with Peyton Talbot on this one.
Yeah.
The grappling skills of Lima are better than Talbot's, man.
Yeah.
I don't think he's got that pace and wrestling that Barcelos did.
Right.
But man, he's a great striker too. I just Peyton does have the power advantage here. I
Yeah.
mean, it means a lot. It means a lot for Peyton. He's got the height on him too. I'll also pick Peyton Talbot. We still believe in you, bro. Don't let us down.
I know.
Don't let us down, man.
But let me tell you, if you don't win this, bro,
You
I'm
should
done.
fight Cody.
No. If he loses this, he needs to go back to PFL. Anyways. So we're going to wrap this up here. We're going to do a 3-bet parlay on this one. All right, here are my picks for UFC 317. Here's my 3-bet parlay, all right? I'm going to go Ilia Topuria by TKO or KO finish. I'm going to go Alexandre Pantoja money line. And then I'm going to do Renato Moicano money line. And actually, I'm going to go Brandon Royval money line. I'm going to switch up Renato Moicano. I think Royval has this in the bag. I'm going to go Topuria, Royval, Pantoja.
Okay. I can see that. I'm going to go with Ilia. I'm going to go with Moicano. And I'm going to go with, let's do RoboCop.
Okay.
Ilia, RoboCop, and Moicano.
All money line.
Money line.
Okay. Fair. Well, that wraps up UFC 317. Thank you guys for tuning into our podcast. I'm going to be announcing the winner of our raffle soon, so stay tuned to hear the winner. And final message from B-Ray.
Cut Patchy Mix.
I agree.
Send them back.
We're out.
Bye.